sinister to the Gagoju. They call him a cheeky fellow who steals your bones. The bones and snail shells, which the male bird gathers from miles around, are decorations for his arena. He has built it to lure a female. When a female comes to his bower, the male uses many ploys to impress her, even enhancing his presence by displaying his ornaments. Jiwei's arena resembles the shelter the Gagoju build for initiation ceremonies. The bird also chants and dances, as if at a ritual. He is the keeper of their secret ceremonies. That's his job, the people say. Garken, the brown falcon, has come to the grasslands. This is the signal for Big Bill Naiji to begin one of the most important aspects of the maintenance of his tribal lands. Only he and the other elders are traditionally entrusted with the task of burning the grasslands. They must clean the country, they say, but strictly according to Aboriginal law. Bill's son, Jonathan Yaramana, has come to learn just how and when the fires may be lit. The time is right in the season of migrating birds. Animals of the grasslands have grown to maturity and can escape the fire. Also, it is a comparatively cool time of year, and beneath the dry stalks, there is still dampness. Fires will not rage out of control. The country will be cleansed, but not devastated. If the laws about burning are broken and fires are set later in the season of heat and dryness, there would be great loss of life. The impenetrable grasses have gone. Soon new shoots will come up through the ashes, attracting kangaroos. It will be easy to hunt and to travel. Jiwei has been unlucky. His laboriously built bower was destroyed in the fire. But most of his precious ornaments have been unaffected. The day after the fire, he begins to rebuild. First, he moves the bones and shells to the new site. After putting down a mat of small sticks, he places the first uprights in position. Working for 4 or 5 hours every day, he has a serviceable bower again in about 2 weeks. Gundamen, the frilled lizard, is an example to all who would disobey Aboriginal law. When he was a man, he was smooth and sleek. But at a sacred ceremony, Gundamen did not listen and performed the wrong rituals. The elders punished him by changing him into a lizard and said he would be thin with a funny-looking loose skin for all time. They said, "You spoiled the ceremony, and people will see you like that forever and ever." The singing of song cycles is another important way in which the Gagoju maintain the integrity between themselves and the life force. Felix Enoch sings the cycle about one of the principal creator beings, Injuanjua. Enoch is the only one who still knows these songs. He said this would probably be the last time that he would ever sing them. Long ago, at the beginning of the dream time, Injuanjua lived in a cave where he painted his own image on the wall. He came across the river, over the plains and billabongs. In his travels, he gave shape to the land, brought important ceremonies, and showed the people what animals to hunt. Enoch explains that Injuanjua eventually turned himself into stone.
Take off his legs and sit down. And when they start walk away,
He says, Injuanjua walks down here and turns himself into stone. That stone there, that's Injuanjua. This rock is the embodiment of the creator being and is the focus of the life force. Close to Injuanjua and imbued with his spirit are the caves where for centuries the Gagoju have placed the bones of their dead.
One of them finger come like that.
Enoch is the only person who still knows the Gagoju's complete burial rites. He explains how the people painted themselves and then carried the bones of the dead to the caves. The two elders are filled with an ineffable sadness as they see their culture slip away. No newly initiated men are following behind them,
You bring him up.
and only the initiated can be told the secret rites.
Go up there. Take the bone, just put him in it. And they say goodbye. I go home. Come back.
Enoch says, sometimes I sit down and think about myself, and I cry before I go to sleep
That's into the song.
because I am very sorry nobody is coming after us. And when we die, Bill and me, they got to bring our bones right back here to this cave, so our spirit can join Injuanjua in our dream time. Bluey Ilkir continues his painting, his communion with the powers of the dream time. Kangaroos and wallabies are particularly important to the Aborigines. The giant ancestral kangaroo, similar to the one Ilkir is painting, made prominent landforms and gave the people important ceremonies. Of the several species that live in Kakadu, Gondagich, the antelopine kangaroo, is the largest. He is hunted for food, but only the older people can eat him. They say that if young people eat kangaroo meat, they will have bad dreams. These kangaroos live in small social groups and are usually gentle and affectionate. Their smaller neighbor, Gonobolo, the agile wallaby, is more aggressive. Flying foxes are the largest of all the bats. During the day, they rest in colonies that may number more than 100,000 individuals. Most colonies are in trees standing in water. It is cooler there. Territorial squabbles are all sound and fury, and seldom result in injury. The young black flying foxes cannot fly at birth. They are carried by their mothers, even in flight, until they are a month old. During the heat of the day, the resting animals fan themselves. Sometimes fanning is not enough. Then the bats lick their wings, and the evaporation of their saliva helps to cool them further. When they are ready to take off, they climb to the highest points in the roost trees. To the Aborigines, Goloban, the black flying fox, is associated with the forces of darkness. Medicine men, who are held in high regard, are also sorcerers. They are often called flying foxmen. Darkness is the time when evil spirits come out from caves and hollow trees. The people do not venture far from the safety of their campfires. Kakadu's night belongs to the animals. Lambulk, the sugar glider, has left her nest in a tree hollow. Dokun, a tiny insect-eating marsupial, is ever ready to tackle insects even larger than himself. After being dormant for several weeks, Beck, the highly venomous death adder, finally sloughs its skin. The snake is now hungry and stalks even York, the brown bandicoot, who is much too large for it to overpower. York, however, takes no chances and barricades himself in his nest of dry grass. Because it has no eyelids, the knob-tailed gecko has to clean its eye with its tongue. The night has been cool, and the kangaroos seek a sunny place to warm themselves. But Lombulk shuns the sunlight and hurries back to her tree hollow. She will sleep here until darkness falls again. Whenever he has a spare moment, Jonathan Yaramarna goes out to his ancestral lands to learn as much as he can from his father. Today, the two visit Hawk Dreaming, a sacred site where the spirit of Garkane, the brown falcon, resides. Bill has difficulty climbing the rock face. This may well be the last time he visits the spirit of Garkane. Bill explains the significance of Hawk Dreaming and shows Jonathan a hand stencil he made when he was about 8 years old and came here with his father. A hand stencil is a kind of signature, laying claim to the site, but more in a spiritual than a physical sense. A few days later, Bill and Jonathan go to a rock outcrop close to Hawk Dreaming. As a commitment to his Aboriginal heritage, Jonathan will put his hand stencil, his signature, on the rocks near Hawk Dreaming. Jonathan makes his mark the way Gagoju people have done for thousands of years. The spinifex grass on the rock plateau is dying off, heralding the season of hot winds. Waterfalls are no more than trickles. In the woodlands, grasses that escaped the fires have died back into a dense mat. The floodplains are reduced to a series of turbid pools. The water turns hot under the burning sun. Barramundi and other fish lie dying in the shallows. The hunters of the billabongs have an easy time, and the scavengers grow fat. A goanna cannot make any impression on the scaly body of a huge barramundi. The 4-foot-long lizard must find another way. Marawuti, the sea eagle, is now able to snare much larger prey than usual. Whistling kites with their smaller beaks and talons cannot penetrate the scales of such a large fish. They wait for Marawuti to do that. Then, with their greater agility and audacity, they snatch the food right out of the eagle's beak. Every dry season, thousands of barramundi perish. In the past, Aboriginal artists, by painting barramundi, tapped the life essence of that species, and so they ensured that the fish's numbers would always be replenished. Bluey continues this timeless tradition. His work of art is now complete. He is drawn on the powers of the dream time, and so the animals he painted will continue to flourish. Bluey's wife, Susan, and her friends tell stories to the children and illustrate them with string games. Susan makes a figure appropriate to the season. It represents lightning, and by the end of October, thunderstorms, forerunners of the wet season, are an almost daily occurrence. This forest, devastated by a late fire set by lightning, appears to have died, but the rains will soon revive it. The lightning and thunder are brought by a fearful being called Namarkun. He carries the lightning like an arc over his body and makes the thunder by striking stone axes against the clouds. Aljur the grasshopper, is painted in electric colors. He appears in November, the time of the most tumultuous storms. The insects are Namarkun's children on Earth. The fierce downpours soon replenish the land. In this time of regeneration, nesting birds bring food to their young. Plants respond quickly. Forests that were charred and blackened are soon green again. Flowers and insects proliferate. To continue Jonathan's education into the traditional life of the Gagoju, Gabariki, Ilkir, and Jonathan's father, Naiji, take him to a remote but important place in Kakadu. The elders show Jonathan how stone knives and spear points are made. How they are struck off a core rock. The stone knives are very sharp, and in the past were used in initiation ceremonies to pierce the nose and cut distinctive designs on shoulders and chests. A group of men paint themselves in preparation for a ceremonial dance, a corroboree. Among the Gagoju, there are no longer enough people with the knowledge and skills to perform the ceremonies. This group from neighboring tribes came to help the Gagoju perform their ceremonial obligations. The dancers reenact great deeds and mimic the dreamtime animals. Through ceremony and compliance with their laws, the Gagoju ensure that their unity with all living things continues. With Marawuti, who rules the floodplains, and with Ginga, who form the rock country. As long as they look after their country, the life force will endure in all its vigor and bounty. During their long history, the Gagoju have built no great monuments. But they have lived for more than 40,000 years in total harmony with their environment. They have not destroyed any land, nor diminished its spirit. That is their monument. And in the long term, that may be the most important of all. The last of the traditional Gagoju men know everything that remains of their ancient culture. Only they have this knowledge. And they are old now.